How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about barter bricks a little bit more today, and depending on how I've titled and thumbnailed this video, you'll understand where I'm going with this. But barter bricks are going to be big business for the next few days and weeks for most of you crafters out there. As it's become very apparent very quickly that you can get 10, 20 of them very quickly, but then the supply dries up. Some people will have spotted the 2 quests that appeared in Valdrakken to give you 5 barter bricks each. These are some of the predeterministic ways to get them nice and early on. But, you know, once they're weekly quests, right? Once you've done them, you've done them. I want to give you guys some information, though, today that you may not have been aware of, that these quests are very similar to the turn-in quests that we've had in past expansions, namely like going all the way back to BFA, where we had the Warfront turn-ins. These quests will change on a weekly basis, and from the PTR we saw a few different versions of them, and it's actually been figured out exactly what these quests are going to be and what you're going to need for them. And the smart goblins of you out there will realise that there's opportunities here. So everybody's going to be wanting to do those quests on a weekly basis for that little boost of barter bricks nice and quickly. If you can do those 2 quests and get 10 barter bricks, that sets you well on your way if you are trying to get those recipes. If any of you have come and said hi to Ponzo, you'll have actually and done some of the maths on this, you'll start to realise if you want to get all of the stuff for your new professions, you need a lot of barter bricks. Now, the barter brick system, or the bartering system in general, is a time-limited issue. This issue is going to soften, and eventually this issue will completely go away, and it's quite heavily tied into the renown system. The new faction, you may have spotted, you unlock the bartering at renown 3, slightly further down the line, I think when you get to renown 12, I believe it is, Loam bartering bettered. This actually means that no longer do you start getting bricks, you instead get boulders, and the rate of boulders needed to purchase the items is more in your favor. And then eventually all the way down the line at 17 you get you get a gift of a few of these so that you can spend them however you wish, and eventually once you reach renown 20 with the Loam Niffen, you get these bartering boulders which can then actually be purchased. You don't buy them with gold, unfortunately. You buy them with your Dragon Isle supplies. But I suspect most of you have got more Dragon Isle supplies than you know what to do with at this point. So as you can see, the problem is somewhat time-gated, and eventually the problem goes away. But at least in the next few weeks, you are going to very, very much care about these barter bricks. You're going to want to get your hands on as many as possible. So let's go back to these quests then, those 2 quests that appeared. If we take a little bit of a look at what Wowhead currently knows, and I say currently because Wowhead only knows what it's already seen, and there was these 2 quests, a Road to Season City and Scribble Engineering this week. These ones were to provide the stews, User's Hearty Stews, and 40 of them, and 5 grand banquets of the Kalawak. And the engineering one was to provide 2 Draconian Fisher Friends. Some of you out there have probably made a whole bunch of gold off this. I've seen screenshots of people selling fishing poles all day long. Good little side hustle for people, there's no denying. If you get in there nice and early, you can take advantage of this. But like I said, there are extra quests, and we've figured out what these extra quests are. And more importantly, we now know the list of items that are going to be required to hand in. So I will present you the information, and you guys can do with it as you choose. I know you goblins out there will do goblin things. This was made possible by a little add-on that we use, an add-on that's a big favourite of mine. It's called All the Things. All the Things, hence its name, tracks all the things, right? Now, All the Things was very good because it scraped some of this data off the PTR. If you go into expansion features, then Dragonflight, then Loam Niffen, you'll spot that there's a bartering section here, and it actually is quite handy as it lists some of the extra quests that we're likely to see in the next few weeks. So there's an enchanting one, which requires 5 enchanted cloaks of Writ, Speed, and Leech, Speed, and Avoidance. 5 of each of those. Now, it does seem to tag a quality onto these as well. There has been a little bit of confusion with these, that the quality side of it might be based upon what it is you can currently craft. We'll have to see when the time comes. Some people have reported seeing different things to what I see here, but so don't take too much focus on the quality side of things, but be aware of the items themselves. Thing to note here is that the items themselves will clearly go up in value, as everybody will want to buy however many it quotes that you need, but also the materials that go into it. We already know enchanting materials are doing wild things right now, so we'll see what happens. There is an Ink Master one that requires you to provide 30 shimmering pigments and 15 chilled runes. That seems like an awful lot of chilled runes to me. That could end up being quite an expensive quest. Chilled runes are probably not the cheapest of materials in the first place. There's a gem or a jewel crafting quest here for some Alexstrasites, some Yosemrals, and for 50 silken gem dust. As if gem dust wasn't already going to be in demand by all the alchemists buying it on a daily basis. It's going to get even more usage if this quest turns up. 10 feral hide drums, I think, is going to be relatively easy and a slightly cheaper one. There's also a what appears to be an alchemy one, Misty's Mix Magic, for 50 aerated mana potions and 15 Omnium Draconis. Now, these are just the ones we know about, and of course, that add on to the 2 that we've already seen, the engineering and the cooking one. There is actually some noticeable professions missing here. There doesn't seem to be any information for a blacksmithing quest, nor does there seem to be any information for a tailoring quest. So this may not be a fully complete list, unfortunately, but it should give you a heads up to what might turn up. Now, there's only going to be 2 of these quests every single week, so if you are going to plan ahead and make sure that you have some of these items crafted and ready, be aware that you know, only 2 out of this list of quests will pop up, not all of them, but it will be big business for a few weeks, I'm sure. What I'll do is I'll put a pinned comment, and maybe I'll put this in the description of the video as well, down below, a list of all of these different items, and so that you've got something that you can sort of use as reference. Maybe I'll throw some Wowhead links in there for the items as well if I'm feeling clever about it. But that should hopefully give you a heads up for what's going to come with each weekly reset for the next few weeks. And like I said at the beginning, my suspicions here is that because of the amount of barter bricks that people need to get all these new recipes, it's probably likely to be big business. Not as big as this week, because all the alchemists are running around trying to get their barter bricks at the moment, but I'm sure there's lots of other patterns and lots of other items, and especially some of the knowledge points that people will be keen to get. And if they can hand in a few crafted items without it costing too much, it should look quite attractive to people. But I'll leave it there for this video today, boys and girls. I hope that was helpful for you. If you haven't got the All the Things add-on, feel free to download it and install it. But be careful. I liken this to some sort of terrible drug addiction. When you realise just how much stuff you can collect in the game, it can really, really absorb a lot of your spare time. So, you know, act cautiously. But give the video a like if you enjoyed it, boys and girls. Consider subscribing if you're new around here. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.